Good morning, listeners. I hope that I find you well and warm on this Thursday morning. Now, we've had a request from a listener to talk about adopting a solution-oriented mindset. Now, I think we can all agree that we certainly have enough challenges and issues and problems and stuff going on in our lives that we need to cultivate a solution-oriented mindset. So I'm going to jump around a little bit this morning. And listeners, as I say, please contact me if you need more information, if you need more clarity, if you need more specifics about your situation or your challenge. So to adopt or to cultivate a solution-oriented mindset, I think for the first thing you have to ask yourself, what is my general attitude? Am I a pessimist or am I an optimist? Am I one of those people who say, I knew it wouldn't work out, or it's gone wrong again, or the relationship's not working, or my job sucks? Again, as I said, I don't know what the specific situation is of this listener, so it's going to be general. So if you are generally a pessimistic person who sees what can go wrong, yes, but what if kind of person, then you need to change that around. And that is easier said than done because it takes discipline and it takes consistency. Remember, the mind, our brains don't like change. Our brain is like a resort horse. It knows to trot the way out and then it knows the way back. And if you try and take it on a different route, you've got a little bit of a battle on your hands with this horse because they don't like the new route. They know exactly where they're supposed to go and exactly at what point they turn around and belt it back to the stables. Our brains are the same. If you have been thinking the same way, the same thoughts or the same kind of thoughts for however long, your brain is going to, I want to use the word insist on saying, oh, but that won't work. Oh, that's just going to be too much of an effort, and then we don't know. Your brain is going to go to that well-trodden path of negativity. So you have to change your mindset and say, I am going to try it, and I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm going to get the support and the information I need to make it my best shot. And if it doesn't work, well, then I will try something else. It will not be the end of the road for me because I have amazing coping skills. I have resources I can draw on. And that may just be a friend, a mentor, or a professional person you can chat to and say, this is what my problem is. This is what I've tried and it hasn't worked. What else? Of course, having a clear vision of where you want to go, be this in a professional sense or in a personal sense, is very important because if I'm just taking every day as it comes, then life is kind of just happening to me. Where if I have a clear goal and I say, I want to get the promotion to the next level, I want to become a better life coach, I want to increase my expertise in a certain field. Now I've got a clear vision. I've got a clear goal. Well, that's great. Now what do I have to do to achieve this? And then you can set the little stepping stones in between. And if something goes wrong, you can sit back and say, okay, so that didn't work out. Let's look at why it didn't work out. What do I need to do differently? How do I need to tweak it? So you're developing a growth mindset instead of a victim mindset. Instead of, my boss doesn't like me, my friends are picking on me, things just never work out for me. It's all a big conspiracy and, look how well Peter and Susie and John and James are doing and here I'm still sitting battling with the same old issues. So if you have a victim mindset, you are going to blame the outside world for your woes. Whereas if you have a growth mindset, you are going to say, what have I learned from doing this. If it's worked, then you say, how can I repeat it? Is this a winning recipe that I've stumbled on here? And how can I repeat this so that going forward, I basically have let's say the basic ingredients of the recipe. Now, I have the basic ingredients and methods of making muffins, but I can make pecan nut muffins, I can make bran muffins, I can make cappuccino muffins. So you need the basic recipe of say, if I do this and this and this, then I have the basics for a winning recipe. And if I want to tweak it because I want to veer slightly in a different direction, then I have to add the things that are required, the nuts or the chopped chips. So having a clear goal, a clear vision is very helpful. Then emotional intelligence, which we've spoken about. If things go wrong, and they do, life is not designed for our convenience. Things do, they always will be bumps in the road. And therefore, having developed and nurtured a solution-oriented mindset is probably one of the most important skills. And listeners, I call it a skill. Like playing the piano, you learn it. You're not born with it. So this positive person who's always reaching their goals year after year, they have acquired the skill somewhere along the line. They weren't born luckier than you were. That's the good news. So get that emotional intelligence where if something does go wrong, you don't feel destroyed. You don't feel utterly wiped out. You don't feel hopeless. You don't feel, woe is me, I can just never get this right. I have to share a little bit of personal information, as I like to do, because it hopefully shows you that we're all human. We all make mistakes, and we all can, if you find a solution-oriented mindset, get over it. When I was in standard 7, grade 9, now we had to do all the subjects. We only chose our 6 subjects at the end of that year. So I had to do accounting. And between you and me, I failed it miserably. And whilst I was a tad disappointed, and my parents were more than a tad disappointed, I knew that I'm not going to let this affect my vision, affect my sense of self, affect my self-esteem, because accounting is not what I wanted to do. And I have admitted openly, and I will proclaim it from the village square, that accounting is not my thing. Figures are not my thing. Yes, I can, to quote an expression, balance my checkbook, but I don't want to be a debtor's clerk or a creditor's clerk or an accountant of some sort or an auditor. And whilst I'm not knocking those of you who are, if that is your passion, it is not mine. The same as I've shared with you, ball games. If it involves a ball, I'm going to have a bad day because it is not my strength and I'm okay with it. So I don't see that as sinking my ship. So when you have a goal, when you have that emotional maturity to say, you know what, this hasn't worked out for me, but is it really what I wanted to do? Was it a little course correction that showed me that maybe accounting is not where my talent and my passion lies? Or is it a case of it is where my talent and passion lies, but I actually just neglected to do what was required, and that is prepare properly. So attitude is huge. What is my attitude towards a problem or a challenge? Do I say, oh, well, what the heck, I'm then just going to chuck it all in and bemoan my lot? Or is my attitude, I really, really want to do this, and failing at it, not reaching my goal is not an option. I am going to succeed. Don't be fearful, be curious. Learn from your mistakes and learn from people who succeed. Watch them, read about them. If you can, go and talk to them and learn from the successful people. There are more than enough books on our bookshop shelves to help you get insight into what the habits, and we've spoken about this before, what are the habits of successful people? They are not successful because they sit with a remote in their hand all day, or they lie on the couch with a bag of crisps and, feel sorry for themselves. Successful people are generally clear vision of what they want to do. They are, yes, in spite of what some people or some literature may tell you, they are self-disciplined. They can, if need be, get up early in the morning to prepare for the day or for their studies or for whatever needs to be done. They are not fearful, they are curious. If something didn't work, they think, I wonder why that didn't work. I was so sure it will. So let's unpack it and see where it went wrong. They have a clear understanding of their potential. Now, I have said to, when I do business mentoring, I have said to my clients, what is your potential and what is your performance? And 9 times out of 10, my client's performance is way below their potential. You have an intelligent, a sagacious person who is a quick learner, who's keen, who's enthusiastic, and yet they don't perform. Their performance is way below their potential. And why is that? There could be a host of reasons. They are not in the right job, so they're not motivated to give it all. They perhaps just lack the motivation. They haven't found out exactly how to be motivated. And here I want to share a little secret with you that I have actually stolen from Mel Robbins. And she said, successful people do what they have to do, even if they don't feel like it. And that is so key. I mean, who feels like getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to study for an exam? But you do it. And when you get your results and they are great, that's the motivation. Often the motivation comes after the success, after you've taken the action. Listeners, I can't tell you, particularly now when it's winter, my alarm goes off at 4 in the morning. And it is very, very, very seldom that I leap out of bed keen to go for my run. Now, my darling husband gets up as well and makes us a cup of coffee and then we're off. But it takes that, you know what, I don't really feel like doing it, but I know how good I'm going to feel when I come back. And that becomes the motivation. You work with the end goal in mind, not the effort perhaps, or the, let's call it unpleasantness, or the effort that is right in front of you, but with the end goal. If you want to lose weight, you don't think necessarily, well, I should eat this salad, it's boring, but you think of how great it's going to be to reach whatever it is your goal weight is. If you want to get fit, you know how good it's going to feel when you can comfortably run the 10Ks. Not the slog that you have to do. And that's the thing, as I've said to you, and I pardon in advance, ask permission for my language. When I come back from a long run, I look like shit, but I feel like $1 million. I can conquer the world. I'm pumped. I'm stoked for the day. And the motivation is then to get me up tomorrow morning and the next morning. So often we have to say to ourselves, I'm going to do what I have to do even when I don't feel like it. The motivation will come afterwards. There's also the expression that says, nothing breeds success like success. Every successful person you see, every well-known actor that you admire, started somewhere. They started off as a nobody, going for audition after audition, getting turned down 1 million times. And one day it all comes together for them. But it has been consistent hard work. You're not born a famous actor or actress. You're not born this incredible entrepreneur who runs multinational corporations. we are all born, I want to say, with the same chances to succeed, because it is in your attitude, it is in your solution-oriented mindset as opposed to your defeatist mindset. It is in the growth mindset. It's in your curiosity, it's in your attitude, and it's in your habits. So ask yourself, do I have a clear vision of where I'm going? Am I getting in my car just to go for a drive around the town? Or am I getting in my car because I want to go to, let's say, Durban, and I want to be in Durban within the next hour and a half, and I'm going to spend so much time there and accomplish the following things? Or am I saying, well, I'm just going to drive around and, I'll stop somewhere if I see a place, and if I don't, well, so be it. And that is often how people run their lives. They wake up in the morning, they drift through the day and say, well, we'll see what happens. And then they wonder why their lives haven't turned out the way they would hope it would. What you put in is what you get out. And what you put out is what you will get back in. What do I mean by that? How much energy, how much effort, how much enthusiasm, how much discipline do I put out? Because if you don't, you can't expect to get, wow, I am so successful and I've actually done nothing. Nobody becomes successful by lying on the couch and feeling sorry for themselves, or getting up late in the morning and staying in their pajamas till 10 o'clock in the morning. There was a wonderful speech by an American naval officer. I don't know if he was an admiral. It was a graduation speech. And he said, start your day by making your bed perfectly. And what he meant is start your day by doing the right thing the right way. So start your day, get up, go and have your shower, brush your teeth, get dressed. And dress that makes you feel good about yourself. Don't dress in a way, we all have the odd day that we think, oh gee, I'm not going out today, I don't want anyone to see me like this. And that is fine, that's the odd day when you can relax. But dress every day like the person you wish you were. Become that person. Every day start with a mindset of whatever happens today, I shall find a solution for it. And if I can't do it on my own, I will find the support. The other thing I want to mention is obviously have friends that support you. And by that, I'm not just meaning friends, oh, you're doing greatly. No, don't worry about Lee. You're doing fine. You just soldier on. Friends that will also say, you know what, Lee, we've noticed that you're doing this and this, and perhaps that is where you're going wrong. Perhaps you can tweak that. Perhaps you can cut out that and take it on board and think about it. So get friends that will support you, not just by telling you what to hear, but also giving you the positive, the constructive criticism. The telling you, you know what, you actually need to work a little bit harder. Maybe you need to put the hours in your studies or in your preparation or whatever it is. In your relationships, if your relationships are not going well, it's so easy to say to your partner, you know what, you're not paying enough attention to me. You come home and, you want to do other things, and you're not this and you're not that. What am I doing? What is my contribution in this, let's call it a failing or struggling relationship? How much effort am I putting in? And if you honestly feel that you are putting in the effort, then have the conversation with your partner. But don't say you. Just say, I feel like this. And when you do that, this is how it makes me feel. And I would appreciate it if you could spend a bit more time with me. I know you are busy. I know you want to come home and relax, and perhaps your partner's got an interest, let's say gardening. And when he or she gets home, they just want to go and potter in the garden for a bit. Allow them. The same with your co-workers. Allow them to be who they need to be. Allow them to be who they are not. And then say to yourself, who do I want to be and what do I want to be? And then find the ways to, one step at a time. Nobody is going to change overnight or even in a week and say, I'm going to go from a person who is generally pessimistic, seeing all the bad in the world, listening to the news and getting more and more depressed, to being, top of the pops, singing Kumbaya every day. It takes effort, as I've said, and it takes the discipline, and it takes the self-awareness to say, today, I am going to become aware of my attitude and of my thinking, and I am going to do this with my goal in mind. So have a growth mindset of, I'm growing. Whatever comes across my path, I am going to use this as a learning opportunity, as a growth opportunity, and not as a woe is me, I'm defeated and I'm giving up. Surround yourself, as I say, with the people that are going to support you in a healthy way. Check your attitude, and then habits. Habits, those little things we do every day that become a pattern, that become a way of life, that become who you are, is often the good starting point. So what you think, what you feel, and how you act becomes your personality. And your personality becomes your reality. So adopting a solution-oriented mindset, ask yourself, do I think positive thoughts? Then I feel optimistic and my acts are proactive. Therefore, my personality is a proactive, optimistic person with clear vision, and that's my reality. Or is my thinking, woe is me? As I think my son once quoted, I think Shakespeare said, oh, what fresh hell awaits me today. Is that your attitude? What fresh hell awaits me today? I already feel defeated before the day started, so I'm going to go in with my shoulders slouched, my tail between my legs, and I am just going to try and make it through the day. Your personality is then negative, it is defeatist, it is pessimistic. Your reality is one of negativity, of things don't do, and they won't. They become self-fulfilling prophecies. So to adopt a solution-oriented mindset, start with your attitude. Your attitude starts with what I think, because what I think decides how I'm going to feel, and how I think and feel influences my actions, which, as I say, shapes your personality, and that creates your personal reality, which is solution-oriented or defeatist-oriented. And I'm now going to just briefly go through, there was a book written by Toby, and his first name escapes me now, and the book is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he writes here, they do not suffer from a lack of energy, motivation, focus, commitment, and perseverance. And I'm going to read that again because that is so key. They do not suffer from a lack of energy. Oh, I'm too tired to do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. They do not lack motivation. They do not lack focus. They know exactly what they want and where they're going. They have the commitment and the perseverance. And that is what I said, when things go wrong, they don't throw in the towel. They are committed to achieving their goal, and they will persevere. They will find a workaround every challenge and every problem. So the first thing is they are proactive. I'm in charge. I choose the script of my life. I'm self-aware enough, and I take responsibility for my choices. We examine our character and we decide how we view ourselves and how we view the situation around us. They do not feel victimized. They do not feel out of control. They are proactive. They take control, and they know whatever happens, I have got great coping skills, and my life that I'm living is a direct consequences of the choices I made this morning, yesterday, last week, last year. Okay. Secondly, they begin with the end in mind, which is what I alluded to earlier. When my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not thinking about it's 4 o'clock and at the moment it's pitch dark and it's a bit chilly. I think about how great I feel when I come in. I work with the end in mind. Whether that end is the good feeling after my run, the good feeling after delivering a good public talk, the good feeling after getting the necessary results from a project or something, whatever it is that is your goal, your thing for today. When you've done it successfully, the good feeling you get, that is working with the end in mind and not getting stuck in the, I don't feel like doing it now and I'm too tired and I really, rather not do it today. My focus is a bit off. None of those things. We are what we are trying to accomplish. And ask yourself, am I accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish? Habit number 3, put first things first. So, again, don't get your priorities all squiffed. In order to manage ourselves effectively, we must put first things first. And we must have the discipline to prioritize our day-to-day actions based on what is most important and not what is most urgent. Okay? And often what is urgent will get someone else nearer their goals. What is important will get you nearer your goals. So what is important is determining your priorities. What are your values and understanding in setting out your day-to-day activities. All activities can be categorized into 2 categories. What is urgent, what is important. And if we react to urgent matters, we spend our time doing things that are not important. That means we neglect what is important and sometimes what is crucial. Habit number 4, seek to understand and then to be understood. So don't always go into a discussion about I am right and you will listen to me and I will make you understand my point of view, whether it's in a work situation, a meeting, conflict resolution, or a tiff with your partner. The ego wants us to say, I'm right and I'm going to convince you. And in the end, you're going to say, yes, Lee, you were right and I'm sorry. Don't. Listen to the other person or person's point of view. Try and understand where they are coming from and then put your point across. We have all spent years of our life learning to read, to write, to speak. First 5, 6, 7 years, sadly, we've never learned to listen. So really listen to what people are telling you. And that's not just in their words. Sometimes you can see it in their eyes, in their attitude. What are they really, really saying to you? Habit number 5, practice success. And here my favorite expression is, as you think, so shall you be. So how do I acquire a solution-oriented mindset? How do you think? Do you think I will find the solution? It may take a bit of digging, it may take a bit of excavating, it may take a little bit of introspection, it may take me speaking to someone who knows more about this than I do. But I shall find a solution. And then you become a solution-oriented mind. Potential has to be developed, remember. It does not just pop up like the Christmas cracker. It has to be developed. In other words, thinking must be developed. And as you think, so shall you be. And if you think defeatist, you will be defeatist. The habit number 6 is synergize by understanding and valuing the differences in other people's perspective. You have the opportunity to create synergy, the interaction opportunity between 2 or more agents, peoples, and get the sum of their input, which is greater than only yours. And again, this is situation specific. So listen to other people, synergize the information and say, how can we put all this together and get the very best out of this situation? And then lastly, again, one of my favorites, sharpen the saw. To be effective, you must devote time to renew your skills, to look after yourself physically. You must eat healthy and get exercise. Spiritually, whatever that is for you, look inward, meditate. There's a wonderful expression that says, if you do not go within, you will go without. That means if I don't go within, if I don't know myself, if I don't become aware of my strengths, but also of my weaknesses, perhaps of my propensity to be short with people, to be sarcastic, have a short fuse, to dismiss others' opinions. If I don't go inside and look at what my dreams are, my goals are, my desires are, they will never be fulfilled. And then mental abilities. Read good books. Speak to people who you admire in that field. Educate yourself. Make sure you are aware of the latest research, of the latest trends, whether you're in the fitness space or in the health space or in the life coaching space or in the engineering space. You have to be aware of the latest trends, the latest research, and we only have to look at AI and GPT chat or whatever the thing is called and everything else that is happening in the AI space to know that if that is part of my world, best plan, I become very well acquainted with it. So, in a nutshell, look at your habits, practice these habits, become aware of what you think, become curious, and don't be a victim of your circumstances, because you are not. You can choose. Life is choices, and we choose to be a victim or we choose to be a creator. Life has not got a conspiracy against you. Life is not some plot, some evil plot that you were born to suffer. You were born to battle. That is all nonsense. You were born to flourish and thrive. But it depends on the choices you make. And whilst as children we don't have the luxury, our parents or caregivers have that, but now that we are all nice and big and grown up, we choose every day how we are going to live our lives. Am I going to have the positive, the creative, the proactive, the I work with the end in mind attitude? Or am I going to sit around in my pajamas with the remote in my hand on the couch till 10 o'clock and then wonder why my life is not the way I would like it to be? Listeners, that is my contribution to cultivating a problem-solving mind, a solution-orientated mindset. Again, as I say, if you need more information, if you need more clarity, if you have a specific situation that you would like assistance on, please don't battle alone. Please reach out. It would be my privilege. And you can get me on 082 330 2439. Oops, and that just dropped my cell phone. But meanwhile, do not think it's the end of the week and therefore I shall start coasting. Give it your best shot today. Squeeze the juice out of every day. And tonight, when you get into your bed, think, that was a good day. I gave it my best shot. Not the disappointment of, well, actually could have done a lot better, but we'll try again tomorrow. Remember, successful, effective people do not suffer from a lack of energy. They do not put off what they need to do. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend coming up. And thanks to South Coast Radio and our wonderful host, Ryan Mudley. And please, listeners, this is on Spotify, it's on YouTube, and share it with someone you think could benefit from it.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.